A warm good evening to all of you. Myself Disha, I welcome all of you on behalf of the principal and faculty and IQAC members of Srinarayana College, Kollam, Kerala to the national level faculty development program on advances in effective teaching. We are associating with Kerala State Higher Education Council, Government of Kerala for conducting this program. Kerala, often referred to as God's own country, is celebrating its 67th birthday today, November 1st, 2023. Kerala Piravi, which means Kerala Day, marks the birth of the state of Kerala, which was officially formed on this day in 1956. And hearty Kerala Piravi Dinashansagal to all of you, especially Malayalis. Our FDP has 135 registered participants across India from 10 different states. This is day one and talk number one of our FDP. Today, our speaker, Professor Dr. KG Suresh, will deliver a talk on nurturing a research mindset. Inviting Dr. Sheja VU, Assistant Professor of Zoology, SN College, Kollam, for the welcome address.
Thank
Out
you,
you.
thank you, teacher. Good evening. Teaching is the highest form of learning, and research is the manifestation. It's my pleasure to welcome you all for the National Level Faculty Development Program on Advances in Effective Teaching, organized by the Internal Quality Assurance Cell of Srinarayana College, Kollam, Kerala, in association with Kerala State Higher Education Council, Government of Kerala. First of all, I'd like to welcome the manager, SN Trust, and the patron of this FTP program, Sri Vellapalli Nadeshan sir. Next, let me welcome Dr. Rajan Gurukal, Member Secretary, Kerala State Higher Education Council and former Vice Chancellor, Mahatma Gandhi University, to this program. A very warm welcome to our esteemed resource person, Dr. Professor KG Suresh, Vice Chancellor, Makanlal Chaturvedi National University of Journalism and Communication, Bhopal, who is here for the inaugural talk on nurturing a research mind. On behalf of Srinarayana College, Kollam, and all the participants in this program, a very warm welcome to you, sir. I'd like to welcome Dr. S.V. Manoj, sir, Principal Srinarayana College, Kollam, to this inaugural session. Next, I'd like to welcome Dr. Disha S., IQAC Coordinator, Srinarayana College, Kollam. A very warm welcome to all the teaching faculty from 10 different states of India and all other participants to this program. We are very happy to have you here this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheja. I'm so happy to introduce our speaker today formally. Professor Dr. KG Suresh is a senior journalist, columnist, educationist, institution builder, socio-political commentator, and communication strategist. He is currently serving as Vice Chancellor of Makanlal Chaturvedi National University of Journalism and Communication, Bhopal, Asia's first and India's oldest and largest media university. Earlier, he served as Director General of Indian Institute of Mass Communication, India's premier media training institution, Senior Consulting Editor with Doordarshan News, India's public news broadcaster, Founder Dean, School of Modern Media, University of Petroleum and Energy Studies, Dehradun, Editorial Consultant with Asianet News Network, Chief Political Correspondent with Press Trust of India, and Group Media Advisor to Dalmia Bharat Enterprises Limited. He is a recipient of the prestigious Ganesh Shankar Vidyarthi Award for Outstanding Contribution to Journalism by the Kendriya Hindi Sansthan, Minister of Education, Government of India. He was earlier designated as Commonwealth Youth Ambassador for Peace by Commonwealth Youth Program Asia. He is also the founder and president of the Global Media Education Council, the only India-driven international academic platform. A TEDx speaker and Henry Stewart Talks faculty, Professor Suresh has successfully completed an experiential course in public health communication from the University of Oxford, UK. He is a member of University Grants Commission expert panels, as well as academic councils and board of studies of several universities and national institutions. He has been on the jury of several prestigious awards and fellowships, including UNAOC, National Film Awards, UNICEF India, Ramnath Goenka Awards for Excellence in Medium, Ladley Media Awards, Press Council of India, MP State Awards, Election Commission of India, and PRSI National Awards. He has extensively traveled across India and the world, including Afghanistan, Pakistan, China, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Indonesia, South Korea, Japan, United Kingdom, Switzerland, Austria, Hungary, Qatar, Mauritius, and South Africa, among others. On behalf of Srinarayana College Kollam and IQAC and Kerala State Higher Education Council, I wholeheartedly welcome Dr. KG Suresh sir to start your talk on nurturing a research mindset. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jisha. I hope I'm audible.
Yeah, of course, sir.
A very good evening to the Honorable Chairman of the college, Sri Natesan, the Honorable Principal of the college, uh, Dr. Jisha, Shija, and all the distinguished participants and eminent panelists who are participating in this very important, conference on advances in effective teaching. I would like to congratulate all the participants on the occasion of Kerala Piravi today, Kerala Piravi Dinasham Sakal to everybody. And it's a coincidence that in Madhya Pradesh, I am addressing you from the beautiful lake city of Bhopal in the heart of India, Madhya Pradesh. And we are also celebrating the Madhya Pradesh Formation Day today. So, and some other states are also celebrating their Foundation Day today. So, my greetings to the participants from Kerala on this occasion. And I have been fortunate to have been associated with Srinarayana College in the past also as a speaker. And thank you for inviting me once again. I'm told that this conference is being attended, FDP is being attended by participants from across the country. And I, congratulate all the participants for taking the pains to attend this FDP late in the evening, leaving all their household chores. So, my greetings to all of you. Friends, today the topic given to me is on nurturing a research mindset. You know, often we in India sometimes wonder that why is it that our institutions don't figure in the top global institutions, despite the fact that some of the finest scientists, some of the finest software engineers, some of the finest doctors in the world, and some of the finest engineers, technocrats, you name them, they all come from Indian educational institutions. Institutions like IIT, IIMs, and several universities, including Kerala University, which has produced a lot of very distinguished people, who have contributed their might to the globe. In fact, whether it is the Silicon Valley, whether it is the top CEOs of the top 100 enterprises in the world, you see a lot of Indians who studied in Indian universities who are heading these institutions. Now, despite that, hardly one or two names you find in the global list of the top 100 universities. One of the reasons that we don't find even ourselves in the QS rankings and other rankings is, their yardsticks are different. That, of course, is the technical point, because they have aspects like international collaborations, international faculty, international student profile. These are also part of that measurements or the assessment as they do it. So certainly Indian universities, except a handful of them, don't make up to those measurements, and as a result, we don't figure in the list. But most importantly, more than all that, if there is one factor which distinguishes or segregates us from the universities who make it to the top, is the absence of research. Research is something that, honestly speaking, at our universities was never encouraged the way it should have been. Research is, of course, being done as individual initiatives or departmental initiatives, but as a culture, research, the general tendency is not to encourage research, not just in the universities, but in, in diverse fields. I'll give you an example. Way back in my younger age, as the introduction was given to you, I was a media person who subsequently shifted to academics. And I remember I always had that research bent of mind. And I still remember, as a journalist, as a young journalist, I got one of the prestigious media fellowships, which was named after a renowned media person, the Prem Bhatia Research Fellowship for young journalists. Prem Bhatia was the editor of Tribune. And I still remember going to my editor and I told him that, I've got a research fellowship. And forget congratulating me, the first response that he gave was that, so how many days leave? He was more concerned that I would be absent from duty in pursuit of my research, and that would hamper the day-to-day work of the organization. Whereas in many other countries, particularly in the West, you find that institutions, in fact, support research activities by their employees, financially also support them, send them on assignments, send them out to conduct research. But that mindset is yet to sink in. We believe that research is not a priority area. The problem is that we think, yes, Indian media has supported investigative reporting and a lot of stuff. But when it comes to research, they feel that what is the need? And with the advent of new media technology, if I may use that term, or digital technology, you find that research has been, kind of reduced to, I won't say replaced by, reduced to Google search. So research means, you do, so you have a research team which does a lot of, internet searching, and then they do some comparative studies, and that is now projected as research. Whereas we used to believe always that what is research? It is searching again. Because we are not going to establish, the whole idea is to come out with a hitherto unknown aspect or little known aspect of a problem. How do we come up with a solution? There are many problems confronting our society. There are many problems confronting various disciplines. What is the solution in a particular discipline? So the whole idea is of research is to come up with some solution or come up with a new aspect. Because when we say there is a limitation of a particular study, we also say that there has to be another study which will go beyond that limitation. So is that happening? Unfortunately, no. As the Vice Chancellor of a university, I come across topics for research, research proposals that I get from our research scholars. And I find that the emphasis is on secondary research, and the primary data too, whether it is a survey methodology or whatever. The whole idea is to do it in your immediate neighborhood, in places which are convenient, The sample sizes are also selected in that way, which is easier. It is not the whether that sample size will actually reflect what we want to find out or what we want to research. That is not the basis of a sample study. A sample is selected, a geographical area is decided depending on the convenience of the scholar rather than the need of that research. So I can come up with several other examples where, it is convenience overshadows the purpose of the research. That what is the purpose? What is it that is it? I sometimes ask when youngsters come to me for guidance and they say that we want to do PhD. The first question that I ask them is that do you want to do PhD or do you want to do research? These both are two different things. If you want to do PhD, then your objective is maybe a job, maybe an API course, maybe a better promotional avenue, and of course, for some, a serious pursuit of studies. But if the objective is research, and in the process, if the PhD happens, that I want to find out, this is one aspect which I can give a couple of instances. That, for example, one of my students, scholars, he decided to study the folklore, Mahatma Gandhi in the folklore of Bihar. Now, generally, when you talk about folklore, folk songs, you generally, think that they are either medieval or they are ancient, and you don't relate it to contemporary events and issues. So there was this interesting study this scholar did, where he said that, sir, there are many songs in rural Bihar where they still eulogize Mahatma Gandhi and they project him as some kind of a hero who can finish all his enemies by just, with a wand. Now, that kind of reference, now these songs came into being during the freedom struggle. And even today, there are villages, there are singers who sing these songs. So I told him, you do one thing. You are, of course, going to study, you are going to take the lyrics and all that. But along with that, do me a favor. Please record these people, record these songs for posterity. I'm not sure whether the next generation will sing these songs. I'm not sure. Because neither the theme is relevant, nor a majority of the people consider the Mahatma also as relevant in today's times. So maybe these songs will die a natural death. Can we capture these songs? So when he went out to do this research, he made a full-fledged documentary. And I really appreciated that, and that was presented in the final viva of the scholar. I gave this example to say that there is a totally new aspect. We have talked about, Gandhi's impact on our lives, on cinema, on this and that. But that he figured prominently in folk songs also, that which continue to be sung to this day. Perhaps people might have heard, but nobody bothered to do a research on that. And that, of course, contributes a lot to the understanding of Gandhi, to the understanding of Gandhian values, to the understanding of how people perceived our national leaders of those times. our understanding of the freedom movement, how it had deeply impacted and etched into our very psychology, into our very, traditions. So many aspects came to the fore. So, to come back to that point, our universities and educational institutions, by and large, have been teaching and learning centers. Our focus has not been on research. We have never developed our universities and institutions as centers of research. Of course, now with API scores and NAC accreditations, NIRF, a lot of private and government universities are insisting on publication of research papers and books by faculty members. So, and this is certainly not the forum to, kind of deconstruct that or delineate how it is going about and how it is being done. Some are really doing a good job, but sometimes we feel that, it is often only we are stacking up the numbers. Whether the research being done is of any relevance to the society at all. That is something that has to be. And I find, unfortunately, that there was a time when universities used to be the think tanks of the society and the governments of the day. Today, a lot of universities and others keep saying that, we are starved of funds, we don't get, the funding that we used to get. Research is suffering because of that. But my point is that why don't the governments of the day, corporates of the day, multinationals, why don't they think that we should go to the universities to find out more about, whether in terms of technology, whether in terms of behavioral patterns, sociological and psychological changes, which are so critical to understand for the governments of the day and for even the corporates? Why don't they look at our educational institutions to study these aspects? Rather, they would go for an earnest and young kind of an institution and ask them to conduct a study, rather than go to they would engage some, multinational consultancy firm, rather than go to universities to understand how things are changing. So that is not happening. And that is not happening. For that, I don't think the governments of the day or the private corporations are to be blamed. I think it is us as academicians, where we have, in a way, I find a disconnect between the society and the universities. We are sometimes, or rather often, working in isolation from the community, from the society, from the industry. So often in many disciplines, when the student goes out of the university to the industry, the first thing he is told is to unlearn whatever he has learned at the university and to learn afresh. That means there is a disconnect. Of course, we are trying to kind of bridge that chasm through industry, academia interface, and stuff like that, and getting adjunct professors. And now the UGC has come up with a provision of professor of practice. So absolutely, new ideas are coming up, but there is a disconnect. I would consider an ideal situation when the governments of the day would tell me or my university, look, I want to do this, I want to know. As introduced by Dr. Jisha, I was earlier, to my current assignment, I was the Director General of the Indian Institute of Mass Communication. And we have a campus in Kottayam also in Kerala. I still remember that one of the pioneering studies we did, we had a communication research department, was on a project called Jago Grahak Jago, which is a consumer awareness program of the Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Government of India. This campaign has been on for the past several decades. Successive governments at the center have been promoting this Jago Grahak Jago to raise consumer awareness on issues ranging from weights and measures to expiry date, to the rights of the consumer to move the consumer courts, a whole gamut of issues. The whole idea is to educate. And we conducted a research across the country. And we found out that the crores of rupees are being pumped into that awareness program through advertisements and campaigns. Our finding was that 75% of the consumers were not even aware of this campaign. In a country where multinationals, Indian corporates are vying with each other to reach out up to the grassroots level, FMCG companies are there, So all kinds of claims are being made on a whole range of issues, which involves very, very sensitive issues like children's health, about female health, about OTC drugs. I mean, there are a range of issues, cosmetics, and a whole lot of stuff. A whole lot of claims are being made by these, but are they even aware, the consumers? So they are not aware of these campaigns at all. So that means there is a disconnect. And we subsequently submitted a report to the Ministry of Consumer Affairs that there is a need to overhaul this entire campaign because it's not reaching out. Similarly, we did a project, and of course that was supported by the Indian Council of Social Science Research. And that was because we were a communication institution and we decided to study the status of women in media. And again, that study brought to the fore, I'm sure most of you remember the Tehelka episode, where a young intern was harassed by the head of the organization, and subsequently, of course, he was arrested and charges were framed. But we found that as per the Supreme Court, Vishakha guidelines, a large number of media organizations did not even have the mandatory internal complaints committee, ICC. These were not there in media institutions which talk all the time about women's rights and about the atrocities and about the plight of women, but they themselves did not follow the mandatory Vishakha guidelines wherein you have to have an ICC in place, which was not there in the case of that Tehelka episode. So this was a major outcome of the study. Now, the whole idea is that can we come up with studies that make often at Viva of my PhD scholars, I ask them that you have been doing this for the last 5 years. What is one new thing you tell me that has come out of your study? You are repeating the same things which are known. So you have a hypothesis and you prove it or disprove it. But for me, or the research questions are there. But for me, I'm more interested. So you are doing a very technical kind of a job. That everybody knows that, there is need for social media to be of the government handles to be more effective. So after spending 5 years, if this is the solution that you have come up with, I said that I don't know what you were doing. How is it relevant? How can we come up with solutions? That has to be at the core of this research. How is it of relevance to my society and my local community? if you are not able to find solutions to the problems of your local community, as I said, that institutions are working in isolation from even the local community. So you have central universities which are in, in remote areas, whether it is Gaya, Motihari, Tiruvannamalai. You have universities in remote areas of the country. In Vidarbha, you have universities. In Bundelkhand, you have universities. Are they contributing to the, in terms of, solutions to the local problems of indebtedness, of farmer suicides? What is the role? Media may be doing its job, but what are the universities located in those areas? If there is a water crisis in a particular state, what is it doing? How the colleges and universities in Kerala are, looking at the climate change? What is the, solution to the problems in the coastal areas of the state? The underground water contamination in the state. Of course, some studies are happening. Center for Science and Environment have just done some studies. I mean, these are just a couple of examples I wanted to throw to say that now, how do we nurture, coming to that final, because I think I'm running out of time also. So, I just want to say that, first of all, of course, let them utilize technology. We cannot stop technology. Technology has come, let us accept it. And let us make the best use of that technology. So now, with advent of AI in a big way, now with the advent of Chat GPT, scholars and students have also become very innovative. You don't have to do much hard work. So earlier governments used to give rice at subsidized rate. Now many governments are giving cooked food at subsidized rate. So you don't even have to cook. So that's what Chat GPT is doing. So you don't have to even cook. Cooked food is, and without any copyright violation, infringement, it is being offered to you. In this challenging scenario, how do you encourage original research? That is the big question. So I think that we all should put our minds together. How to provoke the students and scholars to think about issues. It is not how many, PhD scholars I have guided that is important. If you ask me, for me, what is important is that how many solutions I've been able to, facilitate through my scholars. If that is the objective, and there are so many areas which needs our constant attention. Just for the last 2 days, the City University of New York had come to our university, their professors. They installed a weather monitoring station at which is the first in central India. So I was sitting with these CUNY professors, and they said that weather patterns are changing. Now, can our students look at the changing weather patterns, the soil testing, and can we do something about it? Now, this is an area where no study has been done in our university. So that has given us ideas. It has triggered a lot of thoughts in our minds that this is how we can, start thinking. So it is important that we start looking at the entire research from a new angle. We encourage our young students not only to, the emphasis has to shift from quantity to quality. We have to, the national education policy emphasizes on 2 aspects, if you ask me. One is critical thinking, and the second is problem solving. So when I groom the students to develop critical thinking, then The critical thinking is not just aimed at, criticism or highlighting a problem, but at finding a solution. So research has to be solution centric. There is a problem, there are problems, which you and I know. What are the ways in which it can be solved? There may not be a solution, but maybe this we can explore. Can we give new insights? And for that, reading is required. For that, extensive reading is required. Literature review is required. And international, I see youngsters who come and tell me that, sir, these are the studies I have found. So when I go through this literature review, I find that, a lot of them are from Western citations from the Western scholars. So I tell them that, look, they are advanced countries and their requirements are entirely different from ours. A city may be having a population of, 1 million, and that's a big city for them. For me, I have cities with, 10 million population. My requirements are different. I cannot make a study based on, prepare my scholarship based on, the studies from the West. They can be a reference point, but they cannot be the benchmark for me. So we need to redefine these things. We have to look afresh at the requirements. So I think that we need to sit with our students, encourage them to study diverse literature from across the world, particularly the experience of the developing South. And also literature available in a lot of languages other than English. That is also important. Translated versions may be available. So we need to do more legwork, and we should come out of, the scholars should come out of the cozy comfort zones of air-conditioned rooms and libraries. The emphasis should be more on, as I said, primary research, on anthropological studies, on grassroots level studies. Only then can we expect the kind of research that will set benchmarks globally, that will, for me, I would be happy if there are research scholars from abroad who cite my research, because that would be the kind of benchmark I would be looking at, that my study has found. Because if something is happening in a huge country like India, with a diverse, the kind of diversity which you don't see anywhere else, continental diversities, then our study should be referred to. That if it can be done in a huge country like India, with so much of diversity, it certainly can be a model to look at. So I look forward to the day when, Indian research, not just in terms of our paper publications in Scopus Index journals and all that, but also in terms of our studies being cited globally, and our books being cited globally. Of course, now I see a lot of Indians getting published. In fact, they are giving the Chinese the run for their money. China has been dominating this sector for a long time. But yes, I really hope that I thought that I have nothing new to give. I'm sure that, you all as educationists, as academicians and scholars, you're aware. But since this was an introductory speech, introductory address, I thought that I would share some of my thoughts as somebody who has been in academic for pretty long, and I thought that I would share a perspective which you may or may not agree, but these are some of my thoughts. I am sure that this FDP in in effective in making teaching more effective in a digitalized world, in a world of Zoom and in a world of Google Meets, how to make it much more effective. I'm sure that this FDP will be immensely helpful. The Srinarayana College has been always, taking a very pioneering role in organizing such FDPs. My, compliments to the faculty there and to the management. And of course, Dr. Jisha has always been in touch, and I look forward to more association with this prestigious institution. Thank you so much once again. Thank you. Jisha, I think I completed, you had given me 30 to 40 minutes.
Yes.